are here to create change. There are powers in you, sir. I was teaching my people, I told them there are 3 intrinsic powers locked into the human vessel. Number 1 is called endunamo. That one creates change in your body. When you study Romans 4 from verse 18 to 21, and you hear the story of Abraham, who against hope believed in hope that he will become the father of many nations, according to that which God has told him. And they said he did not consider his body now dead, nor the deadness of Sarah's womb. He staggered not at the promise of God through unbelief, but was strong in faith. The word strong is the word endunamo. That power is faith that produces it. When faith is quickened in you, it activates endunamo. So anything dead in you can come back to life. Then there is another power called elutero. In Romans 8 from verse 1, the Bible said, we have gone past condemnation. There is therefore no condemnation to them which are in Christ Jesus, who walk not after the flesh but after the Spirit. And he said, for the law of the Spirit of life that is in Christ Jesus has made me free. The word made me free is the word elutero. It's a power. That's the power that creates change in nature. And that power comes when the Spirit leads you. And then there is another power called anakainosis. If you study Romans 12, verse 1 to 2, I beseech you, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable offering. He now said, be not conformed to this world. He said, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. The word renew is the word anakainosis. This is beyond metamorphosis. This is moving into the place of God. And that happens when your mind is upgraded. And that type of operation is not just in reading. It's when the Spirit himself shows you. This is why prayer becomes important. It brings you to a point where you see as God sees. When you hit that frequency, it's a power in the Spirit. Anything you say will happen. You think God saw darkness? Light be. That was all he saw. That was what happened. Because it was after light came, he said, and God saw and it was good. It's anakainosis. He doesn't see failure. He only sees success and he proclaims it and it becomes. It's a power. So when we say create change, you actually hit that frequency where it becomes difficult for you to see destruction, failure. You only see the good, the success in no matter how bad and evil is. And on the strength of that, you can call light out of darkness. You can create change from decisions of men to events and then situations. Somebody is dying, you come, you say, no, I'm seeing you at 80. When you are celebrating your 80th birthday, give God thanks. They say, this person is dying, you have seen past death. You have seen life. You create change. If you can't see it, even if you say it, it won't work. He said, lift up your eyes from where you are standing. Genesis 13:14. As far as your eyes can see, I've given you. That's the power to create change. It is in the place of prayer that power is imparted. He said, ask of me, I will give you. But I will show you great and mighty things that you know not of. He said, I've seen an abomination under the sun. He said, beggars are riding on horses while princes are trekking. He said, a man in honor that knoweth not is like the beast of the field that perishes. If you don't bet your ordination, you will become what your generation call you. I have made you a prophet to the nations. It was his personal encounter with God. If he didn't reach that level, he would have become a priest like his father. But his ordination was for a prophet. He said, before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you. I ordained you to be a prophet. But you must bet that ordination. And then the second thing you bet are nations. Listen, what you call South Africa is a geographical location. The nations of South Africa are the ones that you bet. There is the land of Mesopotamia where God sent Abraham to. But there are nations that came out of Abraham's loins. So you need to know the nations that are in South Africa. There are many nations in South Africa. So South Africans are actually the real South Africa. So while we celebrate the geographical location and secure the integrity, that geographical location is useless until the people there become who they are. Hope you know, as vast as South Africa is, only where human beings dwell has life. You fly above South Africa, you will see many vast land that nobody is. So when we come to South Africa, we are not going to the desolate land. In fact, there's no immigration there. If you want to go there, go. Nobody will harass you. Because they know that the geography is useless without the people. So while we secure territorial integrity, we must bet the nations on our inside. There are nations within nations. And so within the context of travail, you will give birth to nations. Abraham gave birth to nations from his loins. There was an Isaac that gave birth to 12 princes that became 12 tribes of Israel. So there are nations that we must give birth to. There are nations here that their DNA is to bring invention. If that nation rises, South Africa will become greater than it is. Now, South Africa is one of the greatest nations in Africa today. without any doubt. Leading in the economic sphere, leading in leadership all around Africa and today around the world. You are the leaders of BRIC. You are the leaders of the G20. You are not ordinary. There is a scepter in this land. We acknowledge it. I told you last year that you are going to lead the economic sphere. But hear this. The South Africans in South Africa must begin to give birth. They are nations. Nations of inventors. Nations of miracle workers. Nations of leaders. Nations of watchers and custodians. But those nations are in your bellies. This is why you travail. To find your ordination and then to bet your nation. So that the conglomeration of the many nations will form the glory of South Africa. Hope you know, the richest man in the world is from South Africa. That's a nation. That means there is a tribe of wealth creators. There is a tribe of inventors. So when we speak on subjects like this, our focus is not religion. I'm not trying to make you a religious man who is just praying aimlessly. I'm telling you that in addition to your training and experience, there is an edge of divinity that will break out of you if you give yourself to God in prayer. And you go read about the foundation of civilization. There's no civilization today without the input of spirits. Go and check. From ancient Egypt to China. Go check. To Persians. Everyone has its root in spirits or spiritual life. So what we are saying is not religious bigotry. We are just telling you how nations are shaped because spirits participate in civilizations. You know, Satan too involves himself in advancing civilization. The only problem is that if it comes from the demonic realm, corruption is added to it. But when it comes from the realm of God, glory, righteousness, grace is added to it. So we are not saying everybody who shapes nation is a believer in Christ. No. There are those who serve deep devils. There are those who are into new age, who through abstract projection communicate with demons to draw inspiration. But we are also saying they are sons of light that download possibilities from Zion, and you are one of them.